Why did you come out here today?
I came out here because I'm concerned that things are starting to move in a direction that's not healthy. So I came out to try and restore honor. The name of the rally, yeah.
Okay,
I
and
think that's where it's going to start.
okay, and tell our viewers, how do we lose our honor?
We lose our honor by falling asleep and not paying attention to how this country functions, basically. I mean, it's our responsibility to kind of caretake the government that makes the decisions that help run our lives, and we have fallen asleep at that. So now people are waking up. We're getting back to founding principles and what really made this country fantastic and prosperous and powerful. And it's going to start in here. It's not going to start with the Democrats or the Republicans. It's going to start with our individual walk.
And both of you mentioned that we're sort of losing the principles of our founding fathers. A lot of our viewers, might say, well, oh, that's not true. How would you explain how we're losing our principles?
Take it away, kiddo.
I was actually not paying attention to the question. Sorry.
I can ask it again. I stumbled, so I'm happy to ask it again.
I didn't want to hand the camera, okay? I wanted you to have some time.
You mentioned that we're sort of losing the principles of our founding fathers, and I imagine there's some people that might say that's not true. And what would you say to that?
I would say maybe read some history books and kind of understand how history has evolved. That a democratic republic is what we are. We're a republic. We're the only nation that was founded by choice, basically. The founding fathers, George Washington could have been king if, he could have stayed king. And instead they decided to give the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And I think the government has stepped away from that founding principle.
But how specifically have they stepped away? What are some of the things they've done?
Oh, well, the federal government, I think, is not doing what the founding fathers, the principles of what a federal government does.
Who runs us? We or them? Do we govern ourselves? It probably started out that way, but we don't govern ourselves anymore. We are governed. And we choose representatives to make choices representing our viewpoints, but they are not doing that anymore. And because, like I said, we have fallen asleep, we need to get back to that where we start, of the people, by the people, for the people. Hello?
It's like when Franklin walked out of the meetings in the 1780s, a woman said, what have you given us? And he said, a republic, ma'am, if you can keep it.
I like the ma'am part.
Ma'am, a republic, ma'am, if you can keep it. And republic is the rule of law, not a democracy, which is a rule of majority, but it's a mix, a good mix, and it's a foundation and it's a principle. So there are many ideas, both good and bad, that have come from the founding of this nation, and it's everybody's interpretation where we are, whether we've lost honor, restored honor, and we need to restore honor. I mean, we're just here to support that idea, that principle of restoring honor. Everyone's entitled to their own basic foundation or concept of what it is.
What I'm looking for is some specifics to what has changed that makes you feel like we're losing our honor.
How about the government sucking up private industry to start with? A lot of it. I mean, it's always been like that. I mean, there's been creeping gobbling up of certain aspects of our culture, but I'd say in the last 2 years we've lost a lot of, and that affects our freedom. We've had the gobbling up of the bailout of the banks, the gobbling up of the student loan industry, Obamacare, or what we call Obamacare. To me, that's a gobbling up of freedom and choice.
And you want the government to stay away from the federal student loan program?
Love it. I'd love for them to not do that. That should be a free market aspect. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Because then what happens is, when they dictate the money and they dictate who gets the money, then they dictate, if you have to pay it back or not. You're going to work for them. It's indentured servitude. When they provide you with supposed those freedoms, that's not freedom.
So you would prefer to do it the way we used to do it, where we gave the money to the
You know
banks and
what?
they
It's
loaned it
not
out?
the way we used to do it. It's not the way we used to do it and the way we're going now. I think overall we've lost, and this has been a wake-up call, we've lost the general principles for many, many decades. This isn't just Obama. This is all the way through. It's just been creeping. But because in the last 18 months it's happened so furiously and so fast, it's really woken people up. It's scared a lot of people. You know, it's sort of shaken their foundation. That's what this is about.
And this is a perfect time for me to ask them, what would be the one message you want people to take away from this event today?
You know what? Wake up. We have a responsibility. Our founders gave us the greatest, freest country with the greatest foundation and set of principles based on achieving liberty and personal freedom. We've fallen asleep at the switch. Wake up. Let's go back to our families and our communities, our individual self, and just start reflecting like, wait a minute, how did we lose this? How can we regain it back? How can we explore our integrity, our honor? Take it
What
away,
she
kiddo.
said.
What she said. I don't know, you got me all worked up now, okay? So how do you think about what I just said to you? Is it
I agree with a lot of what you said. I happen to think the federal student loan program is a federal program, and the government always had its hands on it.
It's had its hands on it, but not to the extent that it does now.
Well,
because
it used to give money to the banks, and then the bank took a profit and then gave it to our kids, and now they just give it right to the kids. And I happen to agree with that.